This movie will discuss the actions and movements involved in bowling. 3 phases will be discussed. These phases will pertain to the upper extremity and include the shoulder, elbow, and wrist joints. Starting position.
In the starting position, the bowler is standing erect. One foot is slightly forward. The bowler's right hand supports the ball and is held in extension. The left hand provides additional aid in supporting the weight of the ball. The shoulder and elbow are each in a flexed position. The obliques act as stabilizers for the upper body during both the backswing of Phase 1 and they add power to the release of the ball during Phase 2.
Phase 1, the backswing.
During this phase, the bowler moves from the starting position and produces a backswing of the arm. The shoulder joint moves from flexion into hyperextension. The latissimus dorsi, posterior deltoid, and teres major are concentrically contracting to produce this movement.
At the elbow joint, the muscles are concentrically contracting to extend and supinate the elbow. The prime movers here are the triceps. The supinator and the biceps brachii aid this motion by supinating the forearm.
The wrist joint experiences isometric contraction of the flexors. The wrist flexors help maintain the steady position of the ball. These muscles include the flexor carpi radialis and the flexor carpi ulnaris. Once the wrist passes the vertical at the bottom of the backswing, the wrist extensors must become active in order to keep the ball held up against gravity. These muscles include the extensor carpi ulnaris, the extensor carpi radialis longus, and the extensor carpi radialis brevis.
Phase 2, acceleration and release.
During this phase, the bowler accelerates the arm, moving the shoulder into flexion as the muscles concentrically contract. The prime movers of shoulder flexion are the anterior deltoid and the pectoralis major. The elbow remains in extension. The biceps brachii, the brachialis, and the brachioradialis work in co-contraction with the triceps brachii at the release of the ball. The supinator and the biceps brachii aid by supinating the forearm. The wrist joint maintains a neutral position. Isometric contraction of the extensor carpi ulnaris, the extensor carpi radialis longus, and the extensor carpi radialis brevis work to maintain this neutral position. Once the ball is released, the flexor carpi radialis and the flexor carpi ulnaris cause the wrist to flex slightly.
Phase 3, follow through. Once the ball is released, Phase 3 is observed. Here the shoulder is in flexion. Shoulder extensors contract eccentrically to slow down the follow-through movement. These muscles include the posterior deltoid, the latissimus dorsi, and the teres major. The elbow moves into flexion. This motion is caused by eccentric contraction of the triceps. The wrist joint remains in neutral. This is caused by isometric contraction of the wrist extensors. These muscles include the extensor carpi radialis longus, the extensor carpi radialis brevis, and the extensor carpi ulnaris. Bowling requires good flexibility and good range of motion. With regular practice, the bowler's body and muscles grow accustomed to the movements of bowling techniques. As these muscles are strengthened, the bowler's performance improves.